Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Modi inaugurates Meerut Metro and a new railway line linking it with New Delhi. In his monthly radio broadcast, Prime Minister Modi says the New Delhi summit a global turning point for harnessing the power of AI. Dozens of civilians killed as Pakistan carries out cross-border strikes in Afghanistan. After court ruling, US President Trump raises global tariffs from 10 to 15%. And the stage is set for a blockbuster clash between India and South Africa at the T20 Cricket World Cup. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Meerut in Uttar Pradesh state on Sunday. The Prime Minister flagged off the Meerut Metro and a Namo Bharat train from the Shatabdi Nagar Namo Bharat station. He inaugurated the 82-kilometer-long Delhi-Meerut Namo Bharat corridor and the remaining sections of India's first Namo Bharat regional rapid transit system. With a design speed of 180 kilometers per hour, Namo Bharat is India's first regional rapid transit system. It will connect urban centers such as Sahibabad, Ghaziabad, Modi Nagar and Meerut with Delhi. The Prime Minister inaugurated Meerut Metro between Meerut South and Modipuram, operating on the same infrastructure as Namo Bharat in a first-of-its-kind initiative in the country. Afterwards, the Prime Minister also travelled on the metro till the Meerut South station. Prime Minister Modi also inaugurated other development projects worth 13,000 crore rupees in Meerut. Afterwards, he addressed a gathering where he noted that the projects launched today will give a thrust to the development of the state and country. India is moving towards a significant and leading role in the field of AI, and its indelible mark was clearly visible in the latest episode of Prime Minister Modi's monthly radio broadcast called Mann Ki Baat. The Prime Minister called the AI Impact Summit a major achievement and a turning point in the country's journey towards becoming a developed nation.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi shared his thoughts with the citizens in 131st episode of Mann Ki Baat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted the achievements witnessed during the Global AI Impact Summit in Delhi this month. Prime Minister said the summit has proved to be a turning point in the trajectory of how the world will utilize the power of AI in the future.
समिट में मुझे वर्ल्ड लीडर्स और टेक सीईओ से मिलने का भी अवसर मिला। एआई समिट की एग्जीबिशन में मैंने वर्ल्ड लीडर्स को ढेर सारी चीजें दिखाई। मैं दो बातों का विशेष रूप से उल्लेख करना चाहता हूं। समिट में इन दो प्रोडक्ट्स ने दुनिया भर के लीडर्स को बहुत प्रभावित किया। पहला प्रोडक्ट अमूल के बूथ पर था। इसमें बताया गया कि कैसे एआई जानवरों का इलाज करने में हमारी मदद कर रही है और कैसे 24/7 एआई असिस्टेंट की मदद से किसान अपनी डेयरी और जानवर का हिसाब रखते हैं। साथियों, दूसरा प्रोडक्ट हमारी संस्कृति से संबंधित था। दुनिया भर के लीडर्स ये देखकर हैरत में पड़ गए कि कैसे एआई की मदद से हम हमारे प्राचीन ग्रंथों को, हमारे प्राचीन ज्ञान को, हमारी पांडुलिपियों को संरक्षित कर रहे हैं, आज की जनरेशन के अनुरूप ढाल रहे हैं।
Prime Minister highlighted the importance of translating and preserving manuscripts, showcasing India's ancient knowledge, language, and rich heritage into multiple Indian and foreign languages using modern AI avatar.
एग्जीबिशन के दौरान डिस्प्ले के लिए सुश्रुत संहिता का चयन किया गया। पहले स्टेप में दिखाया गया कि कैसे टेक्नोलॉजी की मदद से हम पांडुलिपियों की इमेज क्वालिटी सुधारकर उन्हें पढ़ने लायक बना रहे हैं। सेकंड स्टेप में इस इमेज को मशीन के पढ़ने लायक टेक्स्ट में बदला गया। अगले स्टेप में मशीन रीडेबल टेक्स्ट को एक एआई अवतार ने पढ़ा और फिर अगले स्टेप में हमने ये भी दिखाया कि कैसे टेक्नोलॉजी से ये अनमोल भारतीय ज्ञान इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस और विदेशी भाषाओं में ट्रांसलेट किया जा सकता है।
Prime Minister also hailed the enthusiasm of the youth during AI Summit. He also mentioned the 3 Made in India AI models launched during this period. Congratulating the countrymen for its immense success, Prime Minister described it the biggest AI summit ever. Bureau Report, DD India.
In his radio broadcast, the Prime Minister spoke about Arlen Sherin Abraham, a 10-month-old infant from the state of Kerala, who was one of India's youngest organ donors.
In his latest Mann Ki Baat episode, Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted the inspirational stories of organ donations. Prime Minister shared the story of 10-month-old infant Arlen Sherin Abraham from Kerala. Her name has joined the ranks of the nation's youngest organ donors.
कुछ ही दिन पहले हमने केरला की एक नन्ही मासूम आलिन शेरिन अब्राहम को खो दिया है। महज 10 महीनों में वो इस दुनिया से चली गई। कल्पना कीजिए, उसके सामने पूरी जिंदगी थी जो अचानक खत्म हो गई। कितने ही सपने और खुशियां अधूरी रह गई। उसके पेरेंट्स जिस पीड़ा से गुजर रहे होंगे उसे शब्दों से व्यक्त नहीं किया जा सकता है। लेकिन इतने गहरे दर्द के बीच भी आलिन के पिता अरुण अब्राहम और मां शेरिन ने एक ऐसा फैसला लिया जिससे हर देशवासी का हृदय उनके प्रति सम्मान से भर गया है। उन्होंने आलिन के अंगदान का फैसला किया। आलिन शेरिन अब्राहम आज हमारे बीच नहीं है, लेकिन उसका नाम देश के कम उम्र की ऑर्गन डोनर्स में जुड़ गया है।
Sharing several other inspiring examples, Prime Minister said that awareness about organ donation is growing recently in the country today. Prime Minister praised organ donors, saying that it helps those in need and also bolsters medical research in the country. Bureau Report, DD India.
Prime Minister Modi presented the changing face of agriculture, calling farmers true devotees of the earth. He said that they are not just dependent on tradition, but are turning soil into gold through modern technology and value addition.
पटेल नाम के एक युवा किसान से जुड़ी जानकारी वाकई बहुत प्रेरक है। करीब 8 साल पहले तक वे अपने पिता शिवशंकर पटेल के साथ पारंपरिक ढंग से धान की खेती करते थे, लेकिन उन्होंने खेती को नए नजरिए से देखना शुरू किया। अपने खेत के तालाब के ऊपर उन्होंने मजबूत जालीदार ढांचा बनाया, उस पर बेल वाली सब्जियां उगाई, तालाब के चारों ओर केले, अमरूद और नारियल लगाए और तालाब में मछली पालन भी शुरू किया। यानी एक ही जगह पारंपरिक खेती भी हो रही है, सब्जी भी, फल भी, मछली भी। इससे जमीन का बेहतर उपयोग हुआ, पानी की बचत हुई।
The AI for Agri Global Conference on AI in Agriculture and Investor Summit is underway in Mumbai. Rajesh Agarwal, Chief Secretary of the Government of Maharashtra, addressed the event and highlighted next-gen tech will significantly improve governance and farmer services in the state.
We are trying to use rovers and satellite imagery and link it all to the Lathi records and so on. Now we are working with the Xtep, etc., on a blue dots concept, which is a better matchmaking, and it's just an evolution of eKYC plus eligibility criteria woven in, the kind of thing which Nandan was speaking, that when the system knows more and more about you, system will also be able to tell you that based on your profile, you are also eligible for these 2 extra schemes.
While delivering the keynote session, Nandan Nilekani, chair and co-founder of Infosys, said that while much of the global discourse focuses on AI and superintelligence, real impact will come from practical applications that improve everyday lives.
AI is making their lives better. And I do believe that India will be where we will see this. India will be the place where AI will actually be put to use in various sectors, be it in agriculture, education, energy, and so on. Mahavistar is a great example of AI diffusion. What the farmer gets is a completely relevant answer to their question, which I think is the main thing.
Pakistan launched strikes on militant targets in Afghanistan on Saturday in response to alleged suicide bombings in Pakistan. Pakistan launched the strikes after a suicide blast at a Shiite mosque in Islamabad 2 weeks ago and similar attacks more recently in northwestern part of the country. The Taliban said that women and children were among the dozens killed and injured in the attacks. Afghanistan's defense ministry vowed an appropriate response at a suitable time. For its part, Pakistan's information ministry said that the attacks featured intelligence-based selective targeting of 7 terrorist camps and hideouts belonging to the Pakistani Taliban, as well as the Islamic State Khorasan province along the Afghan border. It claimed to possess conclusive evidence the attacks were carried out by the Khawarij, a term used to describe the Pakistani Taliban. Kabul has repeatedly denied allowing militants to use Afghan territory to stage attacks in Pakistan. Still to come on DD India Live. Germany passes a motion to ban social media use for those under 14 years of age. And political drama Yellow Letters wins Berlin's Golden Bear Award.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you.
Exactly what to save your.
You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. US President Trump will now raise temporary tariffs on almost all US imports from 10 to 15%, the maximum level allowed under US law after the country's top court struck down its previous tariff program as invalid. The new levies are grounded in a separate law known as Section 122 that allows tariffs up to 15% but requires lawmakers' approval to extend them after 150 days. But shortly after the court's 6-3 ruling on Friday that rejected the president's authority to impose tariffs under a 1977 Economic Emergency Powers Act, President Trump had initially announced a new 10% global levy by invoking a different legal avenue. President Trump said that during the next few months, his government will determine and issue the new and legally permissible tariffs. But the ruling marked a major political setback in striking down President Trump's signature economic policy that has roiled the global trade order. The ruling was a stunning rebuke by the court, which has largely sided with the president since he returned to office. At the same time, President Trump launched an extraordinary personal attack on the conservative justices who sided with the majority. Germany's ruling conservatives on Saturday passed a motion to ban social media use for under 14s and introduce more stringent digital verification checks for teenagers, building momentum for such limits in Germany and elsewhere in Europe. Chancellor Merz's Christian Democratic Union also called for fines for online platforms that failed to enforce such limits, as well as European Union-wide harmonization of age standards. Merz's coalition partners, the Social Democrats, have backed social media curbs for children. Pressure from both parties in the coalition makes it increasingly likely that the government will push for restrictions. But under Germany's system, media regulation is a state-level responsibility and states must negotiate with each other to agree on consistent nationwide rules. A growing number of countries, including Spain, Greece, France and Britain, are looking at similar social media bans or restrictions on accessing platforms such as TikTok or Instagram. It follows the example of Australia, which became the first country last year to force platforms to cut off access for children. Thousands of people marched in the French city of Lyon on Saturday following the killing of a far-right activist who was beaten to death last week by alleged hard-left activists in an incident that shocked the nation. 7 people are under formal investigation for their alleged role in the murder. France's President Emmanuel Macron called for calm ahead of the rallies and said that he would hold a meeting with ministers on all violent groups next week. Ukraine's Air Force said on Sunday that Russia launched 50 missiles and nearly 300 drones in overnight attacks. It neutralized a majority of the missiles and drones. At least 1 person was killed and 5 injured in the Kyiv region, with damage reported across 5 districts. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Moscow continues to invest in strikes more than diplomacy. A Philippine lawmaker visited Thitu Island in the disputed waters on Saturday, calling for deepening defense ties and continuous pushback against China's claims in the South China Sea. Thitu Island, known as Pagasa in the Philippines, is home to about 400 Filipinos, mostly fishers and their families. The lawmaker believed that Filipinos were not ready to give up any portion of the West Philippine Sea, using Manila's favored term for the waters off its western coast. While welcoming the strengthening of the Philippines' treaty relations with the US in recent years, the lawmaker said that Manila hoped to bring even more like-minded nations into the fold. Yellow Letters, directed by German filmmaker Ilke Katak, won the Berlin Film Festival's Golden Bear for Best Film. Katak's film tells the story of a Turkish director and his actor wife suddenly barred from working because of their political opinions. While set in Turkey, the film was shot in Germany, an artistic choice to make the point that threats to liberty are universal. The runner-up Silver Bear Grand Jury Prize went to Salvation by Emin Alper. Alper's film, inspired by a true story, shows the consequences of a feud over land between two clans in a remote mountain village. Other big award winners include German actor Sandra Hiller, who received the Silver Bear for Best Performance for her lit title role in Marcus Schleinzer's Rose. In sports news, India's unbeaten run in the T20 World Cup now enters the Super 8 stage with a high-profile clash against South Africa, a repeat of the 2024 T20 final and a contest between two in-form sides. DD India's Abhishek Mahajan reports from Ahmedabad.
India begin their Super 8 campaign with a blockbuster against South Africa. Both teams unbeaten, both in commanding form, and a repeat of the last T20 World Cup final. With 4 wins in 4 matches, India have looked the most complete side in the tournament, dominating the key phases with both bat and ball and producing a different match winner every night. The only talking point is Abhishek Sharma, 3 games without a run, but in this format, 1 power play is enough to change the direction of a match, and the team continues to back its impact player. South Africa, meanwhile, arrive with a different identity. Their campaign has been built on collective strength, contributions across the batting order, and a bowling attack that has delivered in partnerships. The head-to-head numbers favor India. They lead South Africa 21-13 in T20 internationals and 5-2 in T20 World Cups, including the title clash in 2024. The venue adds another layer to the contest. In 12 T20 internationals at the Narendra Modi Stadium, teams batting first have won 7 times. The average first innings score is 173, and India's 234 for 4 against New Zealand remains the highest total at this venue. It was here in Ahmedabad that India beat South Africa by 30 runs in a high-scoring thriller just a couple of months ago. Surya Kumar Yadav and his side will be hoping for a repeat, but on a much bigger stage now.
India's perfect run in T20 World Cup 2026 now faces its biggest test. A Super 8 showdown against mighty South Africans. A repeat of 2024 World Cup final, with both sides arrive at Narendra Modi Stadium unbeaten. Certainly high stakes, high quality encounter. With cameraman SP Dubey, this is Abhishek Mahajan in Ahmedabad for DD India.
At the Winter Olympics, defending champions Finland swatted aside Slovakia to win the bronze in men's ice hockey, scoring 4 goals in the final period. The Finns had little time to lick their wounds after letting a 2-goal lead slip through their hands against Canada in Friday's semi-final and made a subdued celebration as the final buzzer sounded. Brad Jacobs led Canada to their first Olympic men's curling goal since 2014 after beating Britain 9-6 in a hard-fought final. Jacobs picked up his second gold medal, as did Mark Kennedy and Ben Hebert, who were both part of the winning team in Vancouver in 2010. The gold was Canada's 4th in men's competition at the Olympics and 7th overall. Jorrit Bergsma turned back the clock to claim men's mass start gold, securing the 2nd Olympic title of his career at the age of 40. Dane Victor Harold Thorup claimed silver in the men's race for his country's 2nd ever Winter Olympics medal, while Italy's Andrea Giovannini delighted home fans with a bronze. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. You can get the latest news on the DD India mobile app on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code to download it. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.